Well, I had an opportunity over the weekend to review some of the election code law, especially relating to absentee voting. I wish I had done so earlier, but as Kelly said, this was a very busy election for all of us. And one of the parts of the code that I discovered was that it seems that before absentee ballots are to be counted, there has to be some kind of a check and balance system that affirms that that person did not vote early voting or in any other way. And I believe that probably nobody has ever really thought how that's going to work out in terms of a process system. But you had mentioned earlier, getting those little stickers on people's, from the judges in the morning, that system is definitely not probably sufficient to assure that when you're counting those absentee ballots that they did not vote early. And so we kind of have a problem with that, and I think we've got some time to resolve that problem. However, when I did go through that code, I learned that in fact the code specifies that you have to compare the signatures of the ballots directly to the voter's record. And as we brought up in the last board meeting, the procedure here was checking the ballot signatures to the ballot application. And I do appreciate that within 24 hours you changed your procedures and you then opened it up, because we've been complaining for 2 weeks that we had not had access to that, but you then opened it up immediately. And you changed how you process these ballots so that now you were comparing the absentee ballot correctly to the voter's registration record. However, you had already processed 2 weeks of ballots unlawfully against the code, and I was first under the impression that you were going to reprocess them to assure that they were all accurate, but I have subsequently found out that you did not. So I have a concern that we have a number of ballots that were unlawfully validated, and I would like that issue addressed, please.
We'll take it under advisement.
I mean, you're raising it for the first time.
Yes.
It's a substantial issue, one that we want to be thoughtful in our response. So we'll take it under advisement and respond.
Okay.
Is there any indication of how many ballots we're talking about?
Well, I would have to go in and FOIA your records, or potentially I could get them without
Oh, we're not
FOIA.
encouraging that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
We can tell you the answer to that. We'll
yeah, you should have that.
that.
That shouldn't be a difficult question to resolve. But it is a number of ballots, and furthermore, I want to have assurances moving forward that this won't happen again. And when we've been talking about the vulnerability assessment and some of the drama related to whether or not we could get things going before the election or not, this is the exact reason why a vulnerability assessment is so important, because we do go in and we look, and I'm a little bit stunned that with the great legal counsel here that you guys had not had that own quality procedure set up already. I mean, how could you have missed that? I really want to know.
Let me ask you this, Ms. Meroni, have you sampled other jurisdictions?
Yes, sir, I have, and we're continuing to do that as well. And you want me to talk about what I discovered in Cook County? Oh, my God.
Okay,
I got gray hair now.
Gray hair. Okay, so I'm just curious if this is an issue that goes beyond the Chicago board and maybe applies to the county and other suburban municipalities too. So I think we'll all have to take a look at that. And thank you for bringing that up to us. So I think we'll look at this issue.
Well, there's a second side to that issue that we've come to understand, and that relates to the counting of the ballot. And my hair got gray counting with Cook County because we discovered that they were actually running their absentee ballots 3 days ahead of the election. And what I learned from that experience was that every time you run those absentee ballots, you have to produce a batch report. And Cook County is printing their batch reports, which have totals from how many votes every single person got 3 days in advance of the election. Now, Chicago, my understanding is you guys don't start running those ballots until the morning of. But the law says 7 p.m. It doesn't say 6 a.m. It doesn't say 7 a.m. It says 7 p.m. And you have justified your behavior in doing that by saying, well, we don't press the button to count them. But now I've learned that you do have to do batch reports. So somebody has pressed that button, and that batch report has created a total somewhere. Now, I fortunately wasn't able to do the audit to find out all of those processes here, but I would be interested to do that. But you should not be counting the ballots before 7 p.m. because when you do that, you're working with technology, and that technology requires some kind of record. so somebody can look and see how many votes have been cast ahead of the election day.
We need to verify that.
We need to verify
We need to verify
because
that. We don't tabulate ballots before 7. Now, the
We
issue
look
is
at
this batch report, I can't answer that. We'll look at that and
I'll look at that.
respond to you.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Brown.
You know, while Ms. Meroni was here, Ms. Meroni called up during nursing home voting, and Ms. Meroni was hollering at staff because our investigators would not let her people into the nursing home. And the gentleman came in to visit with me, and he didn't have the correct credentials. And we talked about that, Ms. Meroni. You were hollering at staff. You called them names. You were hollering at staff saying what's going on here. And you were throwing out a lot of allegations. And I think you do, the staff deserves an apology from you because that was really rude. And especially after I talked to the gentleman and he showed me the credentials that you gave him for the county. You gave him a list of nursing homes that you put together that wasn't one of the nursing home lists that Patty gave you that showed the wrong dates. He was going to nursing homes that hadn't even voted that day. So, I mean, it was really, I couldn't believe that you would do something like that to staff.
Well, thank you for bringing that up. Actually, I was not given the data for the nursing homes until after the voting began, and that was an issue that I raised every day. I still have yet to receive the data that I have been repeatedly requesting.
Wait.
At the last minute,
No,
excuse me, I will address your
you're
point.
wrong.
I did not get it,
Patty gave you that information.
not before nursing home voting started.
Patty gave you that information because we gave it to Patty and made sure that she would give it to you, Ms. Meroni.
Right, I have the email exchange that will verify when I got that information. However, I did not all the way, by the way, yell at any staff, and if I was a little bit concerned, I think I had justified reasons to be so, but I'll make sure if there was any of your staff members that wants me to let me know who they were insulted, I'll address them personally. I would like my data, though. I still am waiting for the election judges. I was, you promised me, Mr. Goff, that you would get back to me after the election and get those.
You also sent an email
I
saying
don't
that
have
you also had an email that you sent to the staff saying if you don't have it in that format, you would buy a program and you would convert it yourself.
That was
and
2 months
I still
ago.
have that email.
That was 2 months ago, and I tried to convert it, and since that time I have come here every week and said, why can't you guys give me, why does it have to be PDF? Before a file is PDF, it's in another data format. Why should I have to buy more programs, which I tried and it didn't work? Just give it to me in the way you have it.
We'll work through those.
When?
We're gonna, I think we need to sit down with you also, because I know you were involved with some of the judges in the process of judge selection here. And I can tell you, we're gonna have to have a meeting because not all our judges performed to our usual standards here. And I'm gonna be cracking down on that. But we're gonna sit down one-on-one with your group and talk about what worked and what didn't work from our standpoint in our dealings with the organization. So,
Well, I'm not sure what the election judge
Well,
commented
we're
first, because
gonna-
I think you guys are responsible for training judges, right?
Well,
I
we're
would-
gonna talk about that.
If we get the
We're gonna-
judges, in time,
Yeah.
so we can train
Right,
them
so,
properly.
and that was the problem. A real problem with judges that didn't
I was
work.
told that you
The
guys were
deadlines
better
were-
off with judges than ever before this year.
Not in terms of the quality of our judges.
That was
Or
not
the
my point.
deadlines.
That,
And
Well,
at the
that's my
last
point.
minute
That's
receiving
my point.
judges
That's
and
my point.
weren't able to get
that has
into
nothing to do
training.
with me.
So we're gonna address
It
that.
does when we have a deadline by which we're supposed to have the judges so we can train them adequately.
Right.
And then it's putting additional pressure and stress on the staff when we have to extend that date close to the election and 3 days before
Three
the
times.
Three times.
and train judges who there were some who did not show up.
Oh, they abandoned their post during the day. They didn't show up. And they were ill-prepared to serve. And there'll be a performance rating on all those, and we'll go through them.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to see that performance rating across the board.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's kind of funny, because you were just saying what a great election was, and now all of a sudden a few of the
As far as
Republican
all
judges are the
judges,
problem.
Absolutely.
That's
And,
hysterical.
you know, who did or didn't show up, and,
Yeah.
Right.